Alex Novak yawned as he stretched in the captain's chair of the Earth exploration vessel Horizon. Another day, another star system to map. After 15 years in deep space, the excitement of discovery had dulled somewhat, replaced by comfortable routine. "Commander, you might want to see this," said Lisa Bennett, his communications officer. Her normally calm voice had an edge to it. Alex walked over to her station, where a signal pattern pulsed on her screen. "What am I looking at?" "A distress call, sir, from an uncharted sector ahead. It's using Galactic Coalition emergency protocols." Alex frowned. The Coalition rarely ventured this far into unexplored space. "Can you clean it up?" Lisa worked her controls. A crackling voice filled the bridge. "Any ships in range. This is Coalition Outpost Sigma 7. We are under at—" The message cut off in a sound that made everyone on the bridge flinch. Something between a roar and a scream. "How old is this message?" Alex asked. "Less than 12 hours based on signal." "Degradation." Alex tapped his command console. "All senior officers to the bridge. We're changing course." The Coalition outpost orbited a small moon. As the horizon approached, they could see the damage. Whole sections were torn open to space, debris floating around the structure like a cloud of metallic dust. "Life signs?" Alex asked his science officer, Doug Miller. Doug studied his readings. "Faint. Maybe 5 or 6. The station should hold, about 30 personnel." Alex nodded grimly. "Prep a rescue team. Full weapons, emergency medical gear." An hour later, Alex led a team of 6 through the outpost's emergency airlock. The interior lights flickered, casting strange shadows on walls, marked with long, deep gashes. Blood floated in globules through the zero-gravity sections. "What could do this?" whispered Joe Kelly, the team's security lead. They found their first survivor in what remained of the medical bay, a blue-skinned Elorian doctor, her tentacle-like, fingers working frantically on a wounded colleague. When she saw the humans, she reached for what looked like a weapon before recognizing their Coalition-approved visitor badges. "You responded to our call," she said, her translator making her voice sound flat. "Too late for most, but not all." "What happened here?" Alex asked as 2 of his team helped stabilize her patient. The doctor's large eyes blinked rapidly. "It escaped. The specimen in Lab 12. The Nexus Beast." "Nexus Beast? You haven't heard of them? Consider yourself lucky. The deadliest predator species in the known galaxy. This facility was studying one." "Studying? Or experimenting on?" asked Doug, pointing to surgical tools and restraint equipment that seemed excessive for normal research. The doctor didn't answer. After stabilizing the survivors for transport, Alex decided to investigate further. The station's logs might have answers. "Joe, take the survivors back to the horizon. Doug, Lisa, you're with me. Let's find the central database." They made their way deeper into the station. The damage was worse here. Walls not just scratched, but torn completely apart, as if something had been searching for something. The central database was located past a section where gravity was still functioning. As they walked, Alex heard a sound from a darkened maintenance tunnel, a low growl that made the hair on his arms stand up. "Wait here," he told the others, drawing his laser pistol. "Sir, protocol says," Lisa began. "Just give me 2 minutes. If I'm not back, return to the ship and quarantine this entire station." Alex switched on his helmet light and entered the tunnel. The scratches on the walls were fresher here, still gleaming in his light. Something moved ahead, a shadow passing. Through shadow, "Hello?" he called. "We're from Earth, we mean no harm." A pair of eyes caught his light and reflected it back. Deep amber with vertical pupils. They were at least 7 feet off the ground. The creature stepped forward, and Alex's breath caught. It stood over 8 feet tall, its body covered in obsidian, scales that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Powerful limbs ended in claws that could easily have made the marks on the walls. But it was the eyes that held Alex, ancient, intelligent, filled with pain. The creature's side was bleeding a dark fluid. A piece of metal, part of the station wall, was embedded in its flank. Alex knew he should run, or shoot. Instead, he Did something that 15 years of space exploration had taught him was sometimes the only option when facing the unknown. He took a risk. Slowly, he put his weapon down and raised his empty hands. "You're hurt," he said softly. The beast growled, a sound that vibrated in Alex's chest. But it didn't attack. Carefully, Alex reached for the medical kit at his belt. The beast tensed, its claws extending further. "Easy," Alex murmured. "I just want to help." He opened the kit, showing the contents to the creature as if it could understand. Maybe it could. Those eyes held too much awareness to belong to a mindless animal. The beast watched as Alex prepared a pain-blocking spray. When he took a step forward, it growled again, but didn't retreat. "This will numb the area," Alex explained, his voice calm despite his racing heart. "Then I need to remove that metal." To his amazement, the creature lowered itself slightly, bringing the wound more accessible. Alex applied the spray, waited 30 seconds, then gently gripped the metal shard. "This will hurt, but only for a moment." He pulled steadily. The beast made no sound as the metal slid free, but its muscles tensed under Alex's hand. Dark blood flowed more freely now. Alex quickly applied a coagulant gel and a synthetic skin spray that would promote healing. "There," he said. "That should—" "Commander!" Lisa's voice came from the tunnel entrance. "Are you okay?" The beast's head snapped up, muscles tensing. Alex placed a hand on its uninjured side without thinking. "I'm fine," he called back. "Stay there." To the beast, he whispered. "They won't hurt you, but you should go, find somewhere safe." The creature studied him for a long moment. Then it did something that would change Alex's life forever. It pressed its massive head against his chest, a gesture almost like gratitude. A low rumble, different from its earlier growls, vibrated through him. Then it was gone, moving with impossible silence into the darkness of the maintenance tunnel. When Alex rejoined his team, Lisa stared at the dark blood on his gloves. "What happened in there?" Alex looked back at the tunnel. "I'm not sure yet, but I think we've been told lies about something." They found the central database intact. As Doug downloaded the station's logs, an alert flashed on his tablet. "Sir, we're being watched. Internal security cameras are active, and they're transmitting." "To where?" "Coalition headquarters. They've been recording everything since we arrived." Alex felt a chill. "Including what happened in the tunnel?" "Especially that, I'd guess." Lisa frowned. Why would they care so much about— An explosion rocked the station, emergency sirens blared. "Station self-destruct initiated," announced a mechanical voice. 5 minutes to core breach." They ran, barely making it back to the horizon before the outpost exploded in a ball of plasma and debris. As they pulled away, Alex stood at the viewport watching the remains scatter across space. He couldn't shake the memory of those amber eyes, the intelligence they held, or the feeling that he'd just stumbled into something much bigger than a rescue mission. In his quarters that night, Alex dreamed of stars and darkness, and somewhere in that darkness, watching him, were those amber eyes, not threatening, waiting. What Alex didn't know was that across the galaxy, a recording of his encounter was already causing panic in the highest levels of the Coalition leadership. A human had done the impossible, faced the galaxy's most feared predator, and lived to tell about it. Nothing would be the same again. 2 months had passed since the incident at the Coalition outpost. The Horizon had returned to Earth, where its crew was placed on extended leave while the event was investigated. Alex Novak spent his days in his small apartment on the moon colony, looking up at the blue sphere of Earth and wondering when he would be allowed to return to space. The dreams continued every night. Amber eyes watched him from the darkness. Sometimes he saw flashes of other images too. Strange laboratories, other creatures like the one he'd met, pain and fear. He would wake covered in sweat, with the feeling that he was missing something important. On a quiet Tuesday morning, his doorbell rang. When he opened it, he found Olivia Grant, the head of Moon Colony Security. Her face was grim. "Commander Novak, I need you to come with me. Now." "What's this about?" Coalition representatives have arrived. They're demanding an emergency meeting with Earth leadership. She lowered her voice. It's about you. Alex grabbed his jacket. As they walked to the transport tube, he noticed more security officers than usual in the hallways. All of them were armed. Am I under arrest? He asked. Olivia shook her head. Not yet, but things are tense. In the main government building, they were led to a viewing room overlooking a large conference hall. Below, 5 coalition representatives sat facing Earth's Leadership Council. The aliens were from different species: a blue-skinned Elorian, 2 insect-like Vespid, a crystalline Lumina, and a hulking Draconian. None of them looked happy. They've been at it for 3 hours, Olivia said. I thought you should see this. A screen on the wall showed footage from the outpost. Alex in the maintenance tunnel treating the creature's wound. Then the image changed to what looked like security footage from various locations across the galaxy. In each clip, a creature, similar to the one Alex had met, tore through coalition facilities, killing everyone in its path. These are Nexus beasts, the Draconian representative was saying, his voice rumbling through the speakers. For 3 centuries, they have been the greatest threat to galactic peace. They are intelligent, vicious, and cannot be reasoned with. Then how do you explain Commander Novak's encounter? Asked the Earth Council leader. A trick, a trap. These creatures are cunning. They mimic intelligence to lure in prey. Your commander was lucky to escape with his life. Alex frowned. That wasn't what had happened at all. The creature could have killed him easily, but chose not to. The Coalition has spent generations hunting these monsters, continued the Draconian. Now we track the last few dozen across the galaxy. Your commander has complicated our work. How? Asked a council member. By creating sympathy for these killers. His footage has spread across the galaxy. Some now question our containment methods. Containment? Alex whispered. Is that what they call it? Olivia looked at him. What do you mean? Before Alex could answer, the Draconian's voice rose. The Coalition's demand is simple. Commander Novak must be turned over to us for questioning. His actions have endangered countless lives. He's an Earth citizen, the council leader protested. And Earth wishes to join the Galactic Coalition, yes? Consider this your first test of loyalty. Alex felt cold. Earth had been working toward Coalition membership for decades. Without it, humanity would be isolated, cut off from interstellar trade routes and technological exchange. Entire industries depended on the promise of that membership. They're going to give me up, he said quietly. Olivia didn't disagree. The transport leaves in 3 hours, I'm sorry. Back at his apartment, Alex packed a small bag. He wasn't sure what the Coalition would do to him, but he doubted it would be pleasant. As he closed the bag, his computer terminal beeped with an incoming message. The screen showed Doug Miller, the Horizon's science officer. Alex, listen carefully, Doug said, his voice low. I've been analyzing the data we recovered from the outpost. Most of it was corrupted in the explosion, but I managed to restore some files. This isn't about you helping that creature, it's about what you might have seen. Seen where? In the database. The experiments they were running. Doug looked over, his shoulder nervously. They weren't studying these Nexus beasts. They were weaponizing them, removing parts of their brains, enhancing aggression, eliminating higher thought functions. The one you met was different. It had escaped before they could complete the procedure. The pieces clicked into place. The creature's intelligence, the targeted destruction of the lab areas, the Coalition's desperation to destroy all evidence. Doug, I need to... A pounding on his door interrupted him. Commander Novak, security forces, open up. They're here early, Alex said. I have to go. Be careful, Doug warned before the screen went black. 4 armed officers escorted Alex to a waiting shuttle. They were halfway there when the alarm started blaring throughout the colony. Security breach in Sector 7, announced a computerized voice. All personnel evacuate immediately. Alex knew what it meant before the officer's radio crackled with panicked voices. Somehow, impossibly, the creature had found him. Here, on Earth's moon. The hallway ahead suddenly darkened as emergency lighting kicked in. A shadow moved at the far end, a shadow far too large to be human. "Get back!" one of the officers shouted, raising his weapon. "No!" Alex yelled. "Don't shoot!" But it was too late. The officer fired, the laser bolt striking the wall as the shadow moved with impossible speed. In seconds, all 4 officers lay unconscious on the floor. The creature stood over them, its amber eyes fixed on Alex. It hadn't killed them, Alex realized. Just knocked them out. The beast moved closer, its great head lowering to Alex's level. Then, to his astonishment, it turned and gestured with its head back down the hallway. "Follow me," the gesture seemed to say. "You want me to come with you?" Alex asked, feeling strange talking to it as if it could understand. The beast made a rumbling sound and moved a few steps away, then looked back. Alex thought quickly. If he stayed, the coalition would take him. If this creature had wanted to hurt him, it could have done so already. And those dreams he'd been having, they felt like more than just dreams now. He made his decision. Lead the way. They moved through back corridors, avoiding security teams. Somehow the beast knew exactly where cameras were located, staying in blind spots. It led him to a maintenance airlock where a small ship was docked, not an Earth vessel or a coalition design. "Is this yours?" Alex asked in wonder. The beast made that rumbling sound again and operated the airlock controls with surprising dexterity. As they boarded the ship, Alex noticed coalition warships appearing on the long-range scanners. They had come for him, and probably for the beast too. "We need to leave now," he said. The creature took the pilot's seat. The controls adjusted to its large claws, and Alex realized the ship had been modified specifically for the beast's use. As they pulled away from the moon colony, coalition ships spotted them and opened fire. "They really don't want us to escape," Alex muttered as the ship shook with a near miss. The beast operated the controls with practiced skill. Weaving through the coalition's formation, it pressed a sequence of buttons, and stars stretched around them as they jumped to faster-than-light speed. Alex sat back, the reality of what he'd done sinking in. He had just become a fugitive, fleeing with the very creature the entire galaxy feared most. "I don't even know what to call you," he said. The beast looked at him for a long moment. Then it used a claw to write in a dust patch on the control panel. The symbol wasn't from any language Alex knew, but somehow he understood it. "Seren," he said aloud, the name feeling right somehow. "It means star, doesn't it?" The beast, Seren, made a sound that might have been approval. Alex smiled despite everything. "Well, Seren, I guess we're in this together now. I hope you know what you're doing, because I sure don't." As the ship hurtled through space, Alex couldn't help but wonder what he'd gotten himself into. But for the first time in 2 months, the weight of those dreams lifted. Something told him he was about to discover the truth, not just about Seren, but about the lies that had shaped the galaxy for centuries. 3 days had passed since their escape. Seren piloted the ship with confidence, taking routes that avoided coalition patrols. Alex spent most of his time trying to make sense of the ship's systems, which were clearly designed for a mix of species to use. "Where are we heading?" he asked, more to himself than to Seren. To his surprise, the creature moved to a star map and pointed a claw at a small, unmarked system near the edge of the galaxy. "That's far beyond coalition space," Alex noted. "Is that your home?" Serene made a low, sad sound that needed no translation. The ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel near a small, green planet. From orbit, Alex could see dense forests, covering most of the land masses with misty valleys cutting between mountain ranges. No signs of cities or technology. "It's beautiful," he said as they began their descent. They landed in a clearing surrounded by towering trees with purple leaves. The air was breathable, but smelled different from Earth's, sweeter, with hints of something like cinnamon. Seren led Alex through the forest. They walked for hours, the terrain growing steeper. As the sun began to set, they reached the mouth of a cave set into the side of a mountain. Inside, Alex stopped in amazement. The walls were covered with paintings, Intricate scenes showing creatures like Seren living alongside other species in what looked like a peaceful civilization. The art style was sophisticated, with details that spoke of advanced understanding, of perspective and form. "Your people made these?" Alex asked. Seren nodded, then moved deeper into the cave. The passage opened into a large chamber lit by glowing crystals set into the ceiling. In the center stood a stone pedestal with a metallic object that seemed out of place among the natural surroundings. Seren touched the object, and it came to life with a soft hum. A holographic display filled the chamber, showing a star map, much larger than the one on the ship. Then the image changed to show creatures like Seren building structures, creating art, studying the stars. "This is your history," Alex said in wonder. The images shifted again. Now they showed the arrival of coalition ships, meetings between Seren's people and coalition representatives. Then, without warning, the scenes turned violent. Coalition forces capturing Seren's people, taking them away. The next images made Alex's stomach turn. Laboratories, surgical equipment, Seren's people strapped to tables while coalition scientists removed parts of their brains, injected them with strange fluids, turned them from intelligent beings into the monsters the galaxy feared. "They didn't just study you," Alex whispered. "They tried to erase who you are." Seren touched the device again, and the images changed to show a planet, presumably the homeworld of Seren's species, being destroyed from orbit. "They tried to wipe you out completely." Alex felt sick. "How many of your kind survived?" Seren held up 7 clawed fingers. 7? Out of an entire civilization? Alex shook his head in disbelief. Seren made a gesture toward Alex, then to itself, then touched its head. "You're asking why I can understand you?" Alex guessed. "Why we can communicate when other species can't." Seren nodded, then touched the device again. New images appeared, showing brain scans of both a human and one of Seren's kind. Certain areas were highlighted, looking remarkably similar despite the different overall structures. "We share a similar neurological pattern," Alex realized. "That's why I've been having those dreams. You've been trying to communicate with me." Seren rumbled in agreement. "Is that why the Coalition is so afraid? Because humans might understand what really happened?" Seren's eyes seemed to grow darker. It touched the device one more time. The image showed Coalition scientists studying human brain scans, then looking at scans of Seren's species. Notes in Coalition standard language scrolled by too quickly for Alex to read completely, but he caught phrases like dangerous similarity and potential threat to control. "They know," Alex said. "They've known all along that humans might be able to understand you. That's why they've been so desperate to hunt you down and to silence me." Seren nodded slowly. Alex sat down on a stone bench near the wall, trying to process everything he'd learned. The galaxy's most feared predators weren't monsters at all. They were victims, survivors of a genocide, their intelligence and culture nearly erased by Coalition experiments, and humans shared a unique neurological connection with them that no other species possessed. "The attacks on Coalition outposts," Alex said after a while. "You were trying to rescue others of your kind, weren't you? Or destroy their research?" Seren made a motion that seemed like both. "And the outpost where we met, you were there for the same reason?" A nod. Alex stood up, a new determination filling him. "The galaxy needs to know the truth. We can't let the Coalition keep hiding this." Seren tilted its head as if asking how. "I still have friends who would help us. My science officer, Doug, already suspects something. And there must be others in the Coalition who don't know what their leadership has done." Seren considered this, then made a gesture toward the cave entrance. Outside, the twin moons of the planet had risen, casting silver light across the forest. "You want to show me something else?" They walked through the night forest until they reached another clearing. Here, Alex saw something that made his breath catch. A small settlement with structures that blended perfectly with the natural environment. And moving among those structures were 6 more creatures like Seren. When they saw Seren and Alex approaching, they froze. One of them, slightly smaller than Seren but with similar markings, moved forward cautiously. Seren made a series of rumbling sounds and gestures. The others relaxed slightly, though they still watched Alex with wary eyes. "The last of your kind?" Alex said softly. Seren nodded, then made a sweeping gesture that seemed to encompass the whole settlement. "This is all that's left of your civilization," Alex understood. "You're protecting them." The smaller creature approached Alex, studying him closely. It reached out one claw, stopping just short of touching him. Alex slowly extended his hand. "It's okay." The creature touched his palm with the tip of a claw, then pulled back as if surprised. It turned to Seren and made a questioning sound. "What is it?" Alex asked. Seren pointed to Alex's head, then to its own, then made a connecting gesture between them. The neurological connection, Alex realized. They can sense it too. Over the next few hours, as the other creatures grew more comfortable with Alex's presence, he began to understand more. Through a combination of gestures, drawings in the dirt, and brief mental impressions that felt like the dreams he'd been having, Alex learned the basics of their history. They called themselves the Nexa, and they had once been guardians of knowledge across hundreds of worlds. Their unique mental abilities had made them ideal peacekeepers and scholars, until the Coalition discovered that those same abilities could be weaponized. When the Coalition realized they couldn't fully control the Nexa, they had tried to destroy them completely, first by altering their biology, then by eliminating their homeworld. The few who escaped had been hunted across the galaxy ever since, their desperate attempts to rescue their captured kin painted as mindless rampages. "We need to tell this story," Alex said, as dawn approached. "Not just to humans, but to everyone. Many species in the Coalition probably have no idea what their leadership has done." Seren looked at the others of its kind, a silent communication passing between them. Then it turned back to Alex and nodded. "It will be dangerous," Alex warned. "The Coalition will do everything they can to stop us." Seren made a gesture that needed no translation. "What choice do we have?" As the first light of morning filtered through the trees, Alex and Seren stood side by side, watching the other Nexa prepare for a day in their hidden sanctuary. A plan was forming in Alex's mind, risky, perhaps even impossible, but necessary. "We'll need help," he said, "and I think I know where to start." Seren rumbled in agreement, and Alex felt something he hadn't experienced since this all began. Hope. Together, a human and the galaxy's most misunderstood species would bring truth to light no matter the cost. Back on the moon colony, Olivia Grant stared at her screen for the 20th time that day. The security footage of Alex and the creature, now identified as a Nexus beast in all official reports, played on a loop. Something about it bothered. Her Coalition forces had taken over the investigation, pushing aside Earth security personnel. They claimed it was for everyone's safety, but Olivia wasn't convinced. She tapped her security badge, accessing files that even the Coalition hadn't managed to lock down yet. The footage from the damaged outpost where Alex had first met the creature was incomplete, but there was something odd about the attack pattern. "Computer, show me a map of the outpost with damage locations marked," she ordered. The screen changed to show a schematic of the station. Red dots indicated areas of destruction. "Interesting," Olivia murmured. The beast hadn't attacked randomly. The damage was concentrated around specific sections: laboratories, data centers, and security areas. Living quarters were mostly untouched. This wasn't a mindless rampage. Her computer beeped with an incoming message from Doug Miller, the Horizon science officer. "Security Chief Grant." Doug's face appeared on screen. "I need to speak with you about Commander Novak. It's urgent." 20 minutes later, they met in a quiet corner of the botanical gardens. Doug looked over his shoulder constantly. "They're watching me," he explained. "Ever since Alex escaped with that creature." "Why contact me?" Olivia asked. "Because you have access to the backup systems. The outpost Alex visited, it transmitted a data package to Moon Colony just before it self-destructed. Standard Coalition protocol for research facilities." Olivia frowned. "Why hasn't anyone mentioned this?" "Because someone classified it immediately. But as head of security, you can access it." Back in her office, Olivia used her emergency override codes to locate the package. What she found made her blood run cold. Research logs, surgical procedures, brain scans, genetic modifications. The Coalition hadn't been protecting the galaxy from monsters. They had been creating them. "We need to get this information out," Doug said when she showed him. "But how?" "The Coalition controls all outgoing communications now." Olivia thought for a moment. "Not all of them. There's the annual Galactic Assembly next week on Centauri Prime. Every member and potential member species will have representatives there. The Coalition will never let us present this evidence." "They won't," Olivia agreed. "But they can't stop all of us." On the hidden planet, Alex and Seren prepared for their journey. They had spent days developing a plan to reach Centauri Prime during the Galactic Assembly. "The Coalition will have warships surrounding the planet," Alex told Seren. "We'll need help getting through their blockade." Seren rumbled and pointed to a communications device they had modified. "You think someone will answer our call?" Alex asked skeptically. "Most of the galaxy thinks you're monsters." Seren's amber eyes seemed to smile. It activated the device and sent a coded message into space. Within hours, they received responses from across the galaxy. Scientists, explorers, even some Coalition members who had suspected the truth for years but had been silenced. "I can't believe it," Alex said as the responses continued to come in. "You've had allies all this time." Seren nodded. A particularly interesting message came from a xenobiologist named Dr. Sam Wilson. He had been studying the neural compatibility between humans and Nexus beasts for years, theorizing that the Coalition's fear stemmed from this unique connection. "He wants to meet us," Alex said. "He thinks he can help." 2 days later, a small research vessel landed in the clearing. Dr. Wilson was a tall, thin man with bright eyes that widened when he saw Seren. "Remarkable," he breathed. "Truly remarkable. And you've been communicating with it?" "With him," Alex corrected. "His name is Seren." Dr. Wilson looked embarrassed. "Of course, my apologies." He turned to Seren and bowed slightly. "It's an honor to meet you." Seren nodded in acknowledgement. "I've brought something that might help," Dr. Wilson said, opening a case to reveal small devices. "Neural translators. Experimental. But they might bridge the gap between your minds more completely." Alex looked at Seren, who studied the devices and then nodded. "It won't be perfect," Dr. Wilson warned as he attached one to Alex's temple. "But it should allow for basic thought transmission. Single words, simple concepts." When both devices were activated, Alex gasped. A presence brushed against his mind, alien but somehow familiar. A single word formed in his thoughts, not spoken but felt. "Friend." "It works," Alex whispered, looking at Seren with new understanding. "Help others. Truth. Justice." "Yes," Alex agreed. "We'll tell everyone the truth." With Dr. Wilson's help, they finalized their plan. They would travel to Centauri Prime aboard his research vessel, which had valid clearance for the assembly. Meanwhile, Olivia and Doug would work from the inside to secure them a chance to speak. The Galactic Assembly was held in a vast dome on Centauri Prime's capital city. Representatives from over 200 species gathered to discuss trade, laws, and mutual defense. Coalition security was heavy, with guards checking every entrance. Olivia and Doug waited nervously near a side entrance reserved for scientific delegations. "Are you sure about this?" Doug asked. "If we're caught, Earth's membership is finished." "If we do nothing, we're complicit in genocide," Olivia replied. "I can live without Coalition membership." "I can't live with that." Her communicator beeped, the signal that Dr. Wilson's ship had landed. It was time. Inside the assembly hall, the Coalition High Commander was addressing the gathered representatives. "The threat of the Nexus beasts remains our highest priority," he declared. "With your continued support, we will eliminate these monsters once and for all." The main doors opened. Dr. Wilson entered first, his scientific credentials allowing him past security. Behind him walked Alex Novak, causing murmurs throughout the hall. And then, causing outright panic, Seren stepped into view. Guards raised, weapons. Representatives scrambled for exits. The High Commander shouted for order. "Kill it!" someone screamed. "No." Alex moved in front of Seren. "No one is killing anyone today. We're here to speak the truth." "Remove them," the High Commander ordered. "First see this," Olivia called out, activating the main display screen. The research logs from the outpost filled the screen. Undeniable evidence of the Coalition's crimes against the Nexa. The hall fell silent as images of experiments, surgical procedures, and brain alterations played out for all to see. The Nexus. Beasts were never the monsters, Alex said into the silence. They were victims. Their civilization was destroyed. Their people experimented on and turned into weapons. Dr. Wilson stepped forward. "I've studied both human and Nexa neurological patterns. They were never aggressive predators. The Coalition altered their brains, removed the centers for higher thought and empathy, enhanced aggression." "Lies," the High Commander sputtered. "These creatures have killed thousands." "Show them," came Seren's thought in Alex's mind. Alex nodded. "Seren wants to show you something." Seren stepped forward, ignoring the weapon still pointed at him. He gestured, and the neural translator projected his thoughts onto the main screen for all to see. Memories of his people before the Coalition, their peaceful civilization, their role as guardians and scholars. Then came the memories of capture, pain, and the desperate struggle to remain himself as they cut into his brain. The escape. The long hunt for others of his kind. The attacks on Coalition facilities, not random violence but targeted attempts to free others and destroy research that was being used to create more weapons. When the images faded, the hall remained silent. An elderly Elorian representative stood slowly. "I have served in this assembly for 60 years. I never knew of these crimes." Others joined her, expressing shock and disgust. The Coalition leadership tried to regain control, but it was too late. The truth was out. "We demand an immediate investigation," the Elorian declared, "and the recognition of the Nexa as a sentient species with full rights under galactic law." The vote was overwhelming. The Coalition leadership was suspended pending investigation. Emergency measures were passed to locate and free any remaining Nexa still held in research facilities. As the assembly broke into smaller groups to discuss next steps, Alex stood with Seren, watching the beginning of change sweep through the galaxy. "We did it," he said. Together came Seren's thought. Human and Nexa. First of many. Alex smiled. First of many. In the months that followed, Earth and the hidden Nexa colony established formal relations. Dr. Wilson's neural translators were refined, allowing for better communication. The surviving Nexa emerged from hiding, sharing their knowledge and culture with a galaxy that was only beginning to understand what it had almost lost. And at the center of it all was the unlikely friendship between a human explorer and the creature, once feared as the galaxy's deadliest predator, a friendship that had changed the course of galactic history forever.